The next assignment I just want to briefly go over is going to be assignment 7B. So you'll notice that you have your drawing guides right here. Again, you're gonna reference page 687 in your tech drafting book, but I want to pull up a couple of these so that we can maybe answer any questions or just give you some insights on them. So the first one here is going to be the vice screw. Okay. So I'm going to ignore this one. I do want to show you something on here because you'll notice that on the end here, I thought this would be a great opportunity to do what we call a detail of just a small portion. And what we want to do is we want to blow it up so that we can dimension it. Okay. So you'll draw this one-to-one, and then you'll notice that I added this at the end here. Could you fit all these dimensions in? Maybe, but it would be really close up in this view, as you can maybe see, okay? So I thought this would be, like I said, a great opportunity to do a detail like this. So what the detail does, okay, it makes an area larger so we can add the dimensions and have the room to see what we need to do. So how do we do this? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'll kind of show you the process to go through here. So we want this to be, you'll notice that it says detail A here. And if I go underneath, this is a scale of 2 times. So this is 2 times larger than what the rest of the drawing is. So to make that view, I am going to copy this whole circle, the whole area right here, okay? And then you'll notice that when I selected this, it didn't copy this line and this line because it wasn't all in there, and the center line. So I want to grab all 3 of those so I have everything, even though it extends outside of that circle. And then I'm simply going to hit enter, and then from a base point, I'm going to move this, to a location that I want it to be, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I am going to trim away that parts of the line that I don't need. Oopsie, I don't need. And then I'm going to grab this. I can't trim the center line for some reason, and I'll pull it back. Okay, there we go. So now I've got that there. And then you'll notice that I didn't put the full circle around it, but that's okay. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale this. I'm going to do SCALE, just scale, okay? Or there is a scale command right here in the middle of the modify box, okay? So scale, enter, and now I'm going to select all of this, and I am simply going to put my base point here, and I'm going to say 2, okay? 2 times. So now it's bigger, okay? It's bigger. You can then trim off. Actually, I've got to draw lines to trim to first. So I'm going to draw a line here and a line here. And I'm going to trim this. Oh, seriously. And then keep hitting me. I'm going to get rid of that and that just to kind of get that. And then you're going to add your, detail A, blah, blah, blah. Now to dimension this, if I would dimension this right now to a 2-place decimal, like the rest of the drawing was, our normal 2-place decimal, I am going to notice that it's going to be double the dimension. I should really put this on the dimension layer. Okay. And that's a problem. Okay. Because all I want to do is I want to show that larger. So instead of it being a 1/2 inch, like it is drawn up here, it's showing as 1 inch. So what do? I'm going to delete this. I need to change my dimension scheme for just the detail. So what you're going to do is you're going to do your normal 2 and 3 place decimals up here. And then when you're ready to dimension this, you are going to go to your dimension manager and you're going to create a new style. Okay. Now all of these dimensions are 2-place. Okay. So I'm going to go 2-place, not modify. I don't want to modify. I want to create new. And what we're going to do is we're going to call this detail A 2-place. Okay. Detail A 2-place. Continue. Now my dialog box comes up. My fit is all going to remain the same. Okay, this is still 1-to-1, but I'm going to go to my primary units, okay? And right here in the middle, there is a measurement scale, okay? Right now it's set 1 to 1. We've never changed this before, but because we made our drawing 2 times larger, my measurement scale needs to be 0.5, 0.5. And now I'm going to say, okay, everything else remains the same. So again, that modify is on the primary units, not fit. Primary units, and it's going to be measurement scale, and it's going to be 0.5, okay? So I said, okay, set current, okay, and you're going to notice that here it changed to the detail A 2 place, because detail A is 2 times. So now when I dimension, point, it's 0.5, okay? And then everything else will be half, so that it's the right dimensions for the drawing. Does that make sense to everybody? So that's something that is new. So the detail is 2 times larger, but now we have to change that measurement scale to 0.5, okay? All right, so everything else on here I think is okay. Set screw, why is diameter not specific? I'll go back to that, Dominic. Everything else here I think is pretty straightforward. So that's the vice screw. So let's look at the handle ball. Okay. Here, probably the only thing that we haven't seen, this is just a spherical, it's a ball, okay? So when we specify the outside diameter, we have to put an S in front of the diameter because that means it's a spherical diameter. It's not like a cylinder. Does that make sense? Okay. That's the only thing different for this one. And then if I open up and I look at the collar, okay, this one I did a section through, so we could dimension the lengths that we see here, and then depth of that slot, so we could see, you know, it's 0.125. It's called out in the depth of the slot here, but then this has to be a reference dimension, so parentheses around that dimension. And then the call out here as well. Is this what you were referring to, Dominic, on the set screw where you don't have an outside diameter here? Is that what you're referring to? Because this is an external thread, and we point to that thread and we call it out as the thread call out, not as the major diameter. I can go back to that otherwise too, but yeah, you'll notice that we don't show an outside diameter across the outside diameter. We call it out as a note for, in this case, 13/16-20. Okay. We'll look at that one specifically. All right, so that one's that. And then the very last one, this one's your challenge part in this second assignment. This is the base. Here again, we needed to add a little section view so that we could dimension to what otherwise would be, you know, hidden features. So we've got, you'll notice that we've got a top view, front view, right side view, and then over here we have the section view, okay? So as I look, I'm just kind of peeking around. I don't see anything out of the ordinary that we haven't talked about. I think everything else you can handle. So again, remember, I know it might feel like, well, I'm just copying. I know students have said, well, I'm just copying. Shouldn't I be doing it? Right now, you're getting used to what is good dimensioning. So as you're dimensioning, pay attention to what do my dimensions look like? How am I putting this on here? Why do I have 4 by and not before the dimension and not after the dimension? Why am I dimensioning in this view? Maybe it's because it's to the true size and shape or not to a hidden feature, those types of things. Okay. So kind of take those notes down and then really using the AutoCAD, figuring out how do I put limit dimensions in here and making sure that you're, you know, calling out the threads appropriately and representing them. So, so the guides here are so that you don't have to have like 8,000 things you're thinking about all at once. This way you can kind of focus. Okay. All right. So hopefully that gives you some good direction on those drawings. But if you still have questions as you're working, I'm very happy to, you know, help you out.